Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
What's going on?
We're happy to be with you guys today, and we have a provocative topic.
Yeah, we have something that I think everybody's going to be interested in. I hope so.
Yep, it's called What a Brand Is and What It Isn't. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about personal branding lately.
There's a bunch of it.
A lot. And a lot of misinformation and confusion to go right along with it. So today we're hoping to bring you some clarity about what a brand is and what a brand isn't. So I want to start the conversation with this question. Hang on, let me share my screen here for just 1 second. The question is this a brand?
Right. The answer to it is no, that's not a brand. Okay. It is an element of a brand. It does not in and of itself say anything about what it stands for. It does not tell a story of any way, shape, and form. And it is about stories and memories where Coca-Cola was valuable to us.
So keep in mind, this also applies to you and your personal brand, because your personal brand is much more than a logo, a photo of you, or a tagline. It's really everything that you stand for, right? Mm-hmm. So, which brings us, it's your story. It's your story, which brings us to the difference between branding and marketing. Marketing is getting your message and image out there to the public via different marketing vehicles or platforms. Mm-hmm. Your brand is that message and image that you put out there on those marketing vehicles. So that's why it's so critical that you build that brand first before you begin to market. There's a difference, and this is where a lot more confusion comes in too. There's a difference between building your brand, mm-hmm. creating that story wrapped around it, all the elements that go with it so you can get that story out there. A difference between building your brand and promoting your brand.
Yep. Think about it like this. Okay. The first thing you want to do after you're building your brand is you want to decide who you're trying to attract. This is really important, because if a brand doesn't attract, it's not a brand. It's just a logo, or it's just a photo, or it's just a tagline. It has to attract the people that you're trying to do business with, that you want to say, hey, I'm over here and I'm valuable to you. Right. So how do you put that? Where do you put that? The places that you market are actually secondary to the right message that you're trying to market. So if you move the cart back behind the horse where it's supposed to go, like Tanya was talking about, and you say, build your brand first, and in building your brand, you decide who it is that you're trying to attract. Now you know the language that speaks to them. The places that you put them later on can be decided. And as your business begins to grow, like mine has, I'm going to use me for an example, right? I started in 2013, the very end of 2013. I opened up a small brokerage in a small town north of Atlanta in the suburbs. We have doubled our income every year. We've quadrupled it 3 years out of the years that we've been in business. How do we do this? We do this through branding and building a brand and putting that brand out there. Now our company has evolved from not just deciding the important places to put those things, but we spend a lot of time, creative time. Are we using the right message and imagery in our brand to attract those people that we really want to do business with? And we do that because we know what differentiates us to our market and why that's valuable to our customers. And if you don't know that, if you don't know who you're trying to reach, and you don't know what makes you different to be able to reach them, then really you're not marketing any different than any of your competitors.
That's the truth. And that happens a whole lot, right? And that's where that misconception of a logo, a photo, and a tagline comes in, because that's what you see in a lot of marketing. And that is where it ends.
And I like to say, I like to interject this, like she started off by saying, you're seeing a lot of this now. You're seeing a lot of people talk about branding. Like, you just about can't go to any platform, especially in real estate. Right. Any peripheral platform that helps promote or market or anything like that, you can go. They're going to have some drop down selection, build your brand. But I'm here to tell you, they don't teach how to build the brand. Normally, when somebody says, hey, let us help you build the brand, they're going to build you a website. Well, a website's not a brand.
It gets your brand out there.
It's a vehicle to get your brand out there. right? And so we're trying to clean up some of these myths right now that are out there, because you see it everywhere. Hey, personal brand, build your brand, build your brand. You even see some things like, what's your unique selling proposition? That's been around 20 years, right? That's not a brand. That's still just not a brand. You've got to pull the rest of these in together. So sorry to pounce on that, but I had to say,
he's passionate about
this. I'm passionate about it, because you see a lot of people saying, hey, we'll help you build your brand. And then you go and you research them and they're like, no, you'll help me build a website, or you'll help me make a promotional material. Those things are important. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the brand. You're the brand.
Absolutely. And if you think of it like this, your brand is kind of like a book, right? Your brand is your story, but you can't put the entire contents of your book on the cover, right? So that's where some of those branding elements that we're talking about come into play. The logo, the tagline, the photo of you. Those are the things that can get somebody to open that first page, right? And want to learn more about your story. But if the rest of the story isn't there, if it isn't supported by the things you do, the things you post, your videos, your blog posts, your articles, all of those kinds of things, if it's not supported by that, you're not getting the brand out there. You don't have a brand built yet if you're not getting those things out there that support your story. So now that you know that it's important to build the brand before you promote it or before you market yourself, you may be thinking, oh man, it takes years to build a brand. I don't have that kind of time. Well, we say nonsense. Every time, think about this. Every time Coca-Cola puts a commercial out there, think about those polar bears at Christmas time. I love those commercials. It evokes a feeling. Every time they contribute to a cause, help in the community, it evokes a feeling. And it's the thing that they want people to remember about them. With every touch, every impression, every outreach, there are more people impacted by what they stand for. And that's really what the brand is all about. So remember, every time you get your own story out there, you're impacting one or more people. And it may take several times of being exposed to your brand before it begins to resonate. Okay, but it doesn't take decades.
No, it doesn't take millions of dollars or
years,
decades. It doesn't.
Or even months in most cases. It takes exposures. That's why it's important not just to build the brand, but to promote it regularly, right?
Consistently. I like consistent.
Exactly.
I'm very big on consistent, guys. You gotta, whatever you get, once you design and build your brand, consistency is where you're going to start seeing your ROI really change. Right now, to prove a point, if you think that you can't express a brand instantly, then think about this. What would happen if you put your logoed shirt on, maybe your t-shirt or whatever? I've got a logoed shirt on today. I wear them most days. All right. So if I got this logoed shirt and I go into a restaurant in town and then I start screaming at the waiter and calling him a goofball and this guy's terrible and how dare you mess my order up and this place stinks and, I can't believe that. What would I have created a brand instantly? Yes, right? Because if you were sitting in that restaurant, what would you do? You would be like, what is up with this ass? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or you'd be embarrassed, or you'd be like, geez, man, this guy, he don't even know how much he's embarrassing himself, right? That's a brand, guys. That is what other people have now pushed upon you, right? Now, in a negative sense, obviously, we don't want that. We want a positive brand. We want to put out good, positive messages. And so, but it works in reverse the same way. Every time you shake hands, every time you have a client, every time you call upon a client, every time you make a video, every time that you make a post, every time that you are seen in town at an event, every billboard, every radio commercial that you might do, every postcard that you put out, every handwritten note, they all are your brand. Instantly, people are making a decision about you and going, oh, this is nice. Well, you know what? That looks like a person I want to do business with. Oh, I like their story. Okay. So you can instantly make a difference especially in a good small geographical farming area. You can make your brand go overnight. No doubt.
Absolutely. And keep in mind that every exposure that Michael's talking about, it does take time to build that massive reach, the huge depth, but to build a brand in your area in a short period of time? Absolutely. We're not talking about a national brand. We're talking about a local brand, what you're known for, and giving you the ability to create what that looks like, right? Create it based on who you authentically are. And that's the other important part is authenticity is everything. You don't want to create some, pseudo brand cover brand out here and you're somebody entirely different behind the scenes. Nobody wants that. And it's something to be proud of. You don't want somebody else to assign a brand to you, right? You want to build your own and get the exposures out there, promote your own. So let's sum it up here. Your brand is not just a logo or photo or a tagline. Those are branding elements. A great brand includes those and a whole lot more. Your brand is your story and how it relates to your prospects and your customers. It's built by design and promoted with exposures. Let me repeat that, guys. Built by design and promoted by exposures. And the reason a photo, logo, and a tagline obviously is not as a brand is it doesn't include everything. We look at 77 different criteria when we use our 3D freedom formula: define, develop, and display that personal brand. So if you want to learn more about that, head to discussyourbrand.com and you can schedule a free call with our team and learn a little bit more. But
yeah, it's absolutely free, guys. Like anytime, get on the schedule, talk for us 30 minutes. It'll be the best conversation you'll have about branding, like whether or not you have questions, whether you got a brand already that you're working on, but you need to know how to tighten that up, whatever that looks like. If this is new to you, if you're brand new to the industry and you say, hey, I haven't done anything to build a brand yet. Yes, you have, and we'll show you how. So call us up there. Go to discussyourbrand.com and book that session. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't obligate you a bit. So hopefully you'll learn something there.
All right. I hope this helps, guys. Yeah. What a brand is and what it isn't. There's a lot of confusion, and hopefully we cleared up a lot of that today. You'll be seeing this more in the future inside this group, doing videos just like this to teach you a lot more about personal branding. So thanks for having us today. Absolutely, folks. Hey, listen, when we do these things, we do it because it's all about prosperity, and that's not a bad word. But when we say prosperity at BrandFace, we're not just talking about money, right? That's important and that's great. But we're talking about the 360 of a full, abundant life that we want for every one of y'all. And we know right here at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say, folks, be bold, especially with your brand, especially getting ready for 2022. And thank you, Ms. Tony. And I hope that we can help you in the future. All right. Thanks, guys. Over and out.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.